Yo, comedy fans, The Naked Gun 2025 is here, and Liam Neeson as Frank Draben Jr. is a total riot. Expect absurd gags, a wild crime plot, and a finale that'll have you rolling. Ready for the craziest reboot yet? Let's dive into this hilarious chaos. The Naked Gun 2025 kicks off with a classic naked gun bang, a bank heist in Miami, led by the menacing Sig Gustafson, Kevin Durand, who's after the mysterious PLOT device. Enter Frank Draben Jr., Liam Neeson, rocking the most ridiculous disguise yet, a Girl Scout outfit, complete with pigtails. He storms in, takes down robbers with cartoonish flair, and accidentally kills a few in hilariously exaggerated ways, like knocking them into walls with a cookie tray. Liam Neeson, the action hero from Taken, plays it straight-faced, channeling Leslie Nielsen's deadpan genius. It's a perfect nod to the original trilogy's love for absurd undercover antics, setting the tone for non-stop laughs. At police squad headquarters, Frank's in deep trouble. His dad, the legendary Frank Draben Sr., set a high bar, but Frank Jr.'s wild stunts, like beating up robbers as a Girl Scout, have landed the department in hot water with lawsuits for excessive force. Chief Davis, CCH Pounder, chews him out, demanding he and his partner, Captain Ed Hawken Jr., Paul Walter Hauser, follow protocol and keep their body cams on. Hauser's Ed is a modern take on George Kennedy's character, delivering dry humor that feels ripped from the 80s films. The squad visits a memorial for their dads, where Frank prays for a sign from his father, maybe an owl. It's a funny, heartfelt moment that grounds Frank's quest to honor his legacy while tripping over his own feet. The plot thickens when Frank and Ed investigate a suspicious death. Simon Davenport, Jason McDonald, drove off a cliff, and it's ruled a suicide. Frank finds a matchbook with a tiger logo at the scene, and Ed notes Simon has a sister, Beth, nearby. They try to retrieve Simon's car with a crane, but in true Naked Gun fashion, it slips like a claw machine prize, crashing into a gas station in a fiery, slapstick mess. This gag is pure chaos, with Neeson's stoic delivery making it even funnier. At the station, Frank meets Beth Davenport, Pamela Anderson, Simon's sister, who insists it wasn't suicide. She points them to Simon's boss, Richard Kane, Danny Houston, CEO of Eden Tech. Neeson and Anderson's chemistry is electric, blending goofy romance with the franchise's over-the-top flirtations, like when Beth bats her eyes and Frank nearly trips over a desk. Frank attends an Eden Tech gala hosted by Kane, who unveils bizarre inventions, like a sperm count boosting machine that zaps the crowd. Kane dodges questions about Simon, but Frank spots another Tiger logo matchbook, linking to Kane's exclusive Bengal Club. After leaving, Kane sends Frank a gift, a hacked smart car that goes haywire, smashing charging stations and breaking a prison wall, freeing inmates in a glorious Naked Gun disaster. Neeson's deadpan face as cars explode around him is a direct callback to Nielsen's iconic "Nothing to See Here" moment from the original. Next, Frank, Ed, and Detective Barnes, Liza Koshy, interrogate a bank robber, Busta Rhymes. Security footage catches Frank eating chili dogs and sprinting for a bathroom, firing his gun to clear a path. Peak Naked Gun absurdity. The robber spills that the PLOT device was in Simon's safety deposit box, tying the heist to his death. At Eden Tech, Sienna meets evil billionaires, revealing the PLOT device's purpose: primordial law of toughness, a gadget that emits a frequency to make people violent. His Project Inferno plan is to hide in a bunker with Weird Al Yankovic as entertainment while the world tears itself apart. It's a deliciously unhinged scheme, mocking over-the-top villainy. Frank hits the Bengal Club, grilling the bartender, Cody Rhodes, and confirming Simon's visit. He spots Beth, using her as a distraction by having her sing a ridiculous scat song while he sneaks into the security room. Frank fights henchmen in a slapstick brawl, finding footage of Simon meeting reporter Douglas O'Reilly. Vincent Lascoombs, Chief D. Avis, fed up with Frank's chaos, suspends him for 2 weeks, calling him to her house while she's in bed next to her sleeping husband, a quirky nod to the original's random humor. At Frank's apartment, he and Beth flirt over dinner, but Gustafson spies on them through a thermal lens, misreading everything as sexual, even Frank's dog joining in. The romance escalates in a snowy cabin where they perform a dark ritual that animates a snowman. It turns murderous, chasing them until Beth beheads it with a sword, a bizarre laugh-out-loud detour straight out of the Naked Gun playbook. Frank then visits O'Reilly's apartment, finding obvious clues that it's a setup to frame him for murder. He accidentally decapitates O'Reilly's body with a ceiling fan, then escapes in his smart car as police close in. Kane hacks the car to kill Frank, but he's saved by Clippy, the virtual assistant, after dodging balloons, bees, and a windshield replacement gag. Ed warns Frank that police squad is shutting down, turning into a spirit Halloween store. Frank hides at Beth's, where she patches his wounds and seasons them like chicken wings. He rants about her erasing his Buffy episodes on TiVo, a random, hilarious nod to the franchise's quirky humor. With his team's help, Frank traps Gustafson in a hospital bed, tricking him into confessing Kane's New Year's Eve plan to activate the PLOT device. IT's a Mission Impossible setup, but Barnes, revealed as internal affairs, tries to bust Frank. He turns the tables, getting her arrested after she admits to threatening contractors. At Kane's New Year's Eve bash, Frank learns the PLOT device will activate via the dropping balls at midnight. He climbs inside, loses his pants, and moons the crowd. Classic Naked Gun embarrassment. Beth tries to stop Kane, but is captured. As Kane triggers the device early, people go berserk, attacking each other. Frank fights through, ejecting gun magazines at faces, then chases Kane. An owl, maybe Frank Sr.'s spirit, flies him to Kane. But Dave Bautista briefly replaces Frank for a speech, only to be mobbed D. Frank punches Kane, who tries to escape with rocket gloves, but crashes into a lamppost. Beth wants revenge, but Frank convinces her to use the device to restore normalcy. Kane's arrested, and Frank and Beth rekindle their romance. Explanation of the ending. The climax of The Naked Gun, 2025, is a chaotic, laugh-out-loud spectacle that ties up the story while staying true to the franchise's absurd roots. At Kane's New Year's Eve event, Frank discovers the PLOT device will activate through the dropping balls, sending a frequency to make everyone violent. In pure Drebin fashion, he climbs into the giant balls, loses his pants, and moons the crowd. A moment that screams Leslie Nielsen's physical comedy, with Liam Neeson nailing the awkward charm. Beth sneaks in to avenge her brother Simon's murder, but gets nabbed by Kane's goons. When Kane triggers the device early, Miami erupts into cartoonish chaos, with people brawling like it's a Looney Tunes riot. It's a hilarious escalation, amplifying the film's theme of chaos spiraling out of control. Frank, the unlikely hero, fights through the mob, comically firing gun magazines at their faces, a gag that's both ridiculous and peak Naked Gun. When his car fails, an owl, possibly his dad's spirit, swoops in to carry him to Kane, a playful nod to the original's random supernatural bits, like the ghost in Naked Gun 2.5. In a wild twist, Dave Bautista swaps in for Frank to deliver a speech to Kane, only to get mobbed by civilians while Frank takes a bathroom break. Another absurd detour that keeps you guessing. When Frank confronts Kane, it's a comedic letdown. One punch to the gut, and Kane's down. His escape with rocket gloves ends with him smashing into a lamppost, a fittingly dumb end for a cartoonish villain. Beth, fueled by rage over Simon's death, nearly takes revenge, but Frank talks her down, convincing her to use the PLOT device to reverse the chaos. This shows Frank's growth. He's not just a klutz, but a guy who can steer others toward good, even if he's tripping over himself. The world returns to normal. Kane is arrested, and Frank and Beth seal their romance with a kiss, echoing the original's goofy love stories. The credits roll with Chief Davis at a press conference, saying Frank's under investigation, but he's chilling at a resort with Beth. In a meta twist, the scene freezes, but Frank and Beth keep moving, noticing the audience, and breaking the fourth wall, literally, as Frank punches it. It's a perfect nod to the franchise's self-aware humor. What does this ending mean? It's less about deep themes, and more about embracing Naked Gun absurdity. The device's reversal suggests hope amid chaos, but the real focus is the laughs. Every gag, from the owl to the fourth wall break, keeps it light. Fans might debate if the owl was Frank Sr. or just a random bird, and Bautista's cameo adds a what just happened vibe that begs for re-watches. For longtime fans, it's nostalgic yet fresh, while newcomers get why this franchise endures. It's silly, chaotic, and unapologetically fun.